The moment the first fan photo dropped online, people didn't know what to focus on first: the unexpected sighting of Hye Kyo in an area she's almost never seen in, or the quiet, delicate detail that turned the entire image into a puzzle that fans are still dissecting frame by frame. It started with a simple snapshot. A fan who worked part-time near Seongsu was walking toward her bus stop when she saw a familiar figure stepping out of a quiet, modern-style cafe tucked between two old warehouses. The woman wore a long beige coat, oversized sunglasses, and minimal makeup. There was no entourage, no bodyguards, no manager trailing her. She looked like any other Seoul resident grabbing coffee on a weekday morning, except she wasn't. It was Hye Kyo, and she wasn't carrying one coffee cup. She was holding two. The moment the fan recognized her, her hands shook as she snapped a picture, nearly dropping her phone. She didn't want to bother the actress, so she quietly moved away, but the image she captured didn't stay quiet at all. Within minutes of posting it anonymously online, fan accounts began to circulate it, pointing out the detail that turned the normal sighting into a major event. Because Hye Kyo wasn't just grabbing coffee. She was grabbing two cups, yet she was walking alone. And the location. That was what truly sent shockwaves across social media. The cafe she walked out of sits exactly 3 blocks from a temporary film location being used for Lee Min-ho's latest project. A location he had reportedly visited earlier that morning, accompanied by staff from his agency. Coincidence? Possibly. But the timing, and the 2 cups, made fans look deeper. Some fans immediately connected this to her recent mysterious designer store purchase, the one she left with a single small box. Others linked it to the airport moment where Lee Min-ho was spotted with a new passport wallet that matched the brand she visited. And now, just when fans thought things were cooling down, this slight, soft moment reignited everything, maybe even more intensely. People began zooming in on the cups. Both cups were identical from the same cafe, sealed with the same lids, each carrying a handwritten note. One cup had her name, Hye Kyo, spelled neatly in black marker. The second cup, though partially turned, seemed to have a single initial on the side. Just one letter. Clear enough to spark curiosity. Blurred enough to avoid certainty. That was the moment discussion exploded. Some argued that she might simply be delivering coffee to someone, a staff member, a friend, a stylist nearby. But others noticed her direction. She was walking toward the exact street that leads to the movie set Lee Min-ho had visited earlier that morning. But what added another layer was her expression, soft, calm, but strangely thoughtful. She wasn't in a hurry, but she wasn't strolling aimlessly either. She walked like she had a purpose, like she was focused on delivering something or meeting someone briefly. And this is where the story gets even deeper. Because according to a cafe staff member, who spoke anonymously, Hye Kyo didn't rush in or act secretive. She ordered 2 drinks confidently, as if she always does it. But while she waited, she checked her phone twice, not scrolling, not browsing, checking for messages, as if anticipating something. The staff member described her as quiet, but unusually warm, offering a small smile when she thanked them. But the most interesting part. When she grabbed the cups, she did so with a sense of familiarity, like the second coffee wasn't an extra, but a regular part of her routine. Still, none of that would have been extraordinary if not for the location. That neighborhood, the quiet industrial corner of Seongsu, isn't a place she normally visits. It's known more for production studios, filming warehouses, and temporary movie sets than shopping or leisure spots. Which is why, when fans placed the map side by side with the recent shoot details of Lee Min-ho's project, everything began connecting like chapters in a growing story. People wanted to dismiss it. People tried to reason through it. But the combination was simply too rare. Hye Kyo. 2 coffee cups. Alone. Walking toward a road leading to Lee Min-ho's film crew. Just days after the designer item incident and the passport wallet sighting. It didn't help the situation that other fan reports from that morning mentioned seeing an unfamiliar staff car parked near the cafe, a car sometimes used by Minute Ho's team. No confirmation, of course. Just whispers. Just observations. But in the world of fandom, whispers can feel louder than official statements. The fan who took the photo later described her impression in an online comment. She looked calm, like she knew exactly where she was going. Not rushed, not confused. Purposeful. That word, purposeful, became the center of discussions online. Because nothing about her movements seemed accidental. And as more fans began digging into local schedules, timelines, and behind-the-scenes information, a new detail surfaced. Lee Minute-Ho's team had scheduled a short meeting in the area that same morning, not a shoot, not a public appearance, just a private crew check-in. This fueled the fire even more. Was she bringing coffee to a friend? A staff member? A stylist? Or someone else entirely? No one could say anything for certain. But everyone agreed on one thing. This sighting didn't feel random. It felt connected. And the most interesting part. This wasn't even the end of the story. Because right after she disappeared around the corner, carrying both cups with care, a fan standing at the opposite end of the street swore she saw someone familiar walking toward the same direction. And that detail has now become the center of the next wave of discussion. The second fan sighting came from someone who hadn't even seen the coffee photo yet. A university student on break, sitting on a bench near the same street Hye Kyo walked into. She posted her observation later, confused but certain. She said she saw a tall man in a simple cap and mask walking toward the same alley Hye Kyo had taken only minutes earlier. The timing was close enough that she wondered if he was part of the same production team. She didn't recognize him until someone showed her the circulating photo hours later. When she looked back at the moment in her memory, she described something subtle. He kept adjusting his mask like he was trying to hide his face, but not in a rushed or panicked way. More like he was used to doing it. That detail caught fans' attention instantly. It is something Lee Minute-Ho is known for, the calm, practiced way he adjusts his mask when trying to stay low profile in public. And the timing was suspiciously perfect. What made this story even more intense was the way both sightings lined up on location maps. Based on the direction Hye Kyo was walking and the angle described by the student, both routes intersect at a quiet lane often used by production crew to transfer equipment. A lane with very little foot traffic. A lane that wouldn't attract attention. A lane that could allow two people to meet briefly without anyone noticing. This is where fans began connecting dots from previous episodes. The designer item idea. The possible gifted passport wallet. The airport sighting. Now the two coffees. One fan wrote, "If she was just passing by, why order two? And why here of all places?" Another added, "This is too many coincidences in 1 week." But the story doesn't end with speculation, it moves into something more emotional. Because one of the cafe workers who saw her earlier that morning described the atmosphere in a small detail that fans found almost poetic. She kept touching the second cup lightly. Like checking the warmth. Not fidgeting, not nervous. Checking. Making sure it stayed warm. A tender gesture. A subtle care. An action that could mean nothing, or something deeply meaningful. She held the two cups differently, one securely in her hand, the other cupped gently, as if protecting it from the cold breeze outside. Her expression, according to witnesses, wasn't rushed. It was thoughtful. Quiet. Almost soft. Like a person carrying something meant for someone specific. And when fans connected that to where she was headed, a location linked to Lee Minute-Ho's private crew schedule, the theory that was once a whisper began to sound like a heartbeat. Still unconfirmed. Still respectful. but undeniably present. The most daring twist came later in the day, when a set staff member, without realizing the significance of their comment, posted on social media. "Someone brought warm coffee today. It saved us." They deleted it hours later after fans swarmed the post asking who brought the drinks. They never answered. But the timing aligned perfectly with the moment Hye Kyo was seen leaving the cafe. Even if she brought the coffees to staff, it still places her steps away from Minute Ho's temporary set space. Still places her within minutes of where he was expected to arrive. Still links her actions to a setting directly relevant to him. And then, there's the final detail. A bystander claims they saw a crew member walking back holding a coffee cup, the same brand, the same lid, the same size. This bystander didn't know who Song Hye Kyo was. Didn't know the cafe. Didn't know the scandal brewing online. She only posted, "Someone brought fancy coffee for crew today. It wasn't cheap." That's when fans froze. Because the cafe she visited is known for high-end artisanal drinks. The kind you don't usually buy for a group unless it's intentional, thoughtful, or meaningful. And one detail remains unanswered. Why did she go alone? Why was she carrying 2 cups? And why choose a cafe that sits walking distance from his filming location, when she normally stays far from the district? No one has answers. But what everyone agrees on is this. The timing is strange. Her movements are unusual. And this may be the most daring moment in the storyline so far, because it hints at something quietly building behind the scenes, something warm, deliberate, and intentional. And fans are now watching both stars more closely than ever. Because if 2 coffee cups caused this much chaos, what happens if the next sighting reveals something even warmer?